Today I am back for the continuation of the fender flare tutorial. This is part 2, and today hopefully getting the majority of the rear fender flare done and starting on the front fender flare. We'll see where it goes. I don't have the metal material yet, but I do have the rest of the material for the templates and everything else. So let's get to it. Since the first part of this, I had cut this off of the tire, and so next thing would be cut it off of the body itself, and then we're gonna have to take that off and clean up all the edges. So next you're going to want to cut off all this tape that's hanging over. That way whenever you mark your next template, you're not marking where the tape is, because you want it to be wherever the cardboard ends. So since I couldn't find a piece of paper long enough, I'm just going to take these two pieces, tape them together in the back, flip it over, and then I'm going to go ahead and mark up the template. So even though you have it all marked out and everything, and you cut off the edges, you're still going to have a little bit of inconsistency throughout the edges. So what I'm going to do, especially for here, is I'm just going to take a straight edge, and I'm just going to go from corner to corner, corner to whatever that is, and just straighten that out, straighten this out, and then these, I'll probably try and soften these up just a little bit, especially this one. This one isn't too big of a deal, especially if I do use the fender welt, which if I do make it out of metal, I'm not 100% positive that I'm going to be able to, because if I decide to weld it to the body, it's going to be a little hard to use fender welt in between it. So now I don't have any kind of way to soften up these kind of edges and stuff, so I'm just going to do it as I cut it out with the scissors. And if I want to change anything, like I said, the whole point of this is so that I can mark on here. If I want anything shorter or longer, I can take this and then cut it out of another piece of paper and modify this before I cut it out of whatever material I'm making the actual fender flare itself out of. Next thing is to go ahead and mock this up onto the car. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and tape it back up just like I did to the other template, and just make sure everything fits up. I'll mark where things need to either be extended or where they need to be shortened. If they need to be shortened, I'll probably just cut the template itself, but obviously if it needs to be lengthened, I'll just put an arrow out right where it needs to be pushed back out a little bit, and then that way I know where to give some material on the next template if I need to make a next template. There are no major fitment issues, which is much better than I did last time whenever I did my first fender flares, but that's also because it was the first time I had ever even tried doing anything like this. So obviously I've had some experience with this, and there's only one thing that's not fitting too well, but it's very easy fix. You can see it fits pretty well. Now it might not want to go exactly where the line is, but as long as it's close, I'm okay with that. But it's fitting pretty well here and here. You can see, I don't really know why. Obviously this gap is kind of annoying, and once you push that down, it kind of pushes this up, which is something that I'm actually perfectly fine with. If you see, there's a tiny little gap in here, and that would actually be good because it'll allow for some movement in the wheel. Now once I make this out of a stiffer material, everything is going to be completely different. Now you can see this is even like moving in the wind, so once it's made out of metal or something and attached to the body, it's going to barely even move. Something like this where it wants to touch the outside of the tire, something like this is definitely going to need to be cut. See how I have this kind of even amount here? I have like an even amount of the tire showing all the way throughout here, but then once it starts to get here, it kind of starts to thin out, and I'm going to have to cut some of this away. Not too much, and that's okay. Cutting away from the template is a whole lot easier than creating a whole nother template with additional material. and then you have to go through that whole process. Anyways, so there's that thing, and then there's this. It appears that there's just too much material here. If you see the line there, it's just, all I gotta do is cut this down a little bit until it fits properly. Obviously I could have it fit like that, but I really would rather it just fit right on that black line, because this kind of kicks out a little bit, and I thought that was just because of the body line or whatever reason. I'm gonna have to address that and the front, and I'll get back to you whenever I'm done. Again, this is not how I'm going to be ending this here or ending this over here. I'm going to do some kind of wedge to clean it up. You guys will see that later whenever I get this part made out of metal. I'm going to do this pattern and everything later once I get this all figured out, because this may change a little bit. I may have to do adjustments to this just because I wasn't able to get this as clean as I'd like to. So I'm going to address this later after I get it cut out of metal. It'll just be easier to be able to grind that down or whatever. Next thing is to do the front fender flare. Exact same thing as this one. So now the front flare is going to be exactly the same, or at least the process is going to be exactly the same. I probably won't be doing too much different. It's going to be stopping at almost the same exact points just for continuity. Like the front and everything, I measured where I want it to stop and where I want it to start and everything. Everything is going to be pretty much the same. It's made the same exact design. I think I'm not really going to worry about it being too close to the tire to be able to turn or anything. I think that I'm just going to basically say fuck it, and if I can't turn, then I can't turn, which I already can't turn, so is there really an issue? I don't know. It'll probably just rub a lot, but honestly, I don't really care. I don't really drive this car all that much. I'd like to drive it more, and the only reason I'm not driving it right now is because, one, I'm out of registration, and two, I'm illegal because I don't have fender flares. But as soon as I get these on, I'm gonna start driving this thing, and whether or not it rubs, that's just what's gonna happen. I've got this matched up at the same height, ending here and then ending here as well as the one in the back. Like I said, I am going to be doing something here and there just to clean it up. This one actually surprisingly looks almost exactly like my original fender flares, very similar. Some of you guys were saying on the first video that my rears look similar, and it's because I'm doing it the same way, just tiny bit different design, but this is definitely going to look way different in the end. My old ones, I wasn't really too happy with the way they looked, but hopefully these will turn out better. And then just like I did to the other one, I'm going to go ahead and cut it here, and then that way I'll be able to lay it out, get the other pattern, make sure it all fits up. So I've got both flares mocked up. I'm going to show you. The front flare is not exactly where I'd like it to be yet. I'm going to continue what I wanted to do because it's going to look a whole lot different once I do everything that I want to do to them. The adding on piece, I want to get these finished and out of the way and then do the rest, and then if I don't like it, I'll just redo the fronts. The rears looking good and I like them a lot. As you can see, it just looks like really big, and that's obviously because my wheels are massive in the front, but it doesn't help that the front of the Miata comes in so much that you have to clear so much space here, and it just looks so big. I mean, this is bigger than the rear. I would say maybe just as big as this. So I mean, as you look here, it's pretty small, and then it gets just gradually bigger and bigger, and it's just so massive in the front that I don't know if this right here is what I want it to be. I might end up cutting this up here and then doing something different. But anyways guys, that's it for today. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you within the next couple of days for the third part of this video series, and peace out.
Dare you, I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what?
One more time.